What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live composing show. I am Stephen Melin, music composer for the screen, and I'm here to help you build a music business that supports your family. Today on the live composing show, I am very pumped that we get to get back into the world of the Boar Knight, which is a musical theater podcast by Fool and Scholar Productions. It's an upcoming show, and we're about halfway done, which is pretty cool. I think we're looking at like 15 episodes, and so here we are. I'm not working on every episode, but today we're going to be looking at episode number 10, Creeping Bloom, which is the legend of the Creeping Bloom, which is an underwater creature. It's a little algae character that over the course of the song, as we tell the story, this little creature is going to grow larger and larger until it starts hurting all of his friends and causing these disasters. So it's kind of a whimsical, lighthearted tune. I have a couple reference tracks that we're going to use today. And as always, the purpose of this show is to give you guys a very, I don't even want to use the word unpolished, but a very clear, authentic lens into what it's like to be a professional composer. And even this week, this has been a very exciting week as I've worked on multiple projects. I've worked on, oh my gosh, so today's Thursday. So far this week, I've worked on, I co-wrote a song for Dark Dice, which is a podcast that I continue to make music for. I wrote a new main theme for an upcoming spin-off series of The White Vault. There's multiple seasons of that. Did that yesterday. What else we got going on? Realm Weaver, which is the upcoming video game, which, you know, if you've been following for a while, for the last couple months, got to record the Budapest strings, and now I have lots of the soloists coming back with their recordings remotely, and I'm starting to mix those in, and that's just been an incredible process doing that. And on top of all that, we also have this ongoing longer-term project, the Boar Knight. And it's funny because the Boar Knight started before all of these things, but just, you know, schedule and such, it's just been a little bit harder to get to all of that. But thankfully, this is the longest term of them all. And so if there's one point to take away, even from that little spiel, when you're a professional composer and you're busy, you have to wear the hat of being a scheduling person, being someone who can manage a lot of things, because typically you can't live off of one project or two projects. It's just not really financially feasible unless you're charging really, really high rates. But even then, you're probably working on one huge game soundtrack or one huge film or something that can sustain you. But otherwise, I've always been someone that works on 3 or 4 projects at a time. I'm actually really excited for you guys to hear my conversation with Adam Gubman. I think that releases next week, if I'm not mistaken. I had a recent chat with him, and he's written for over 800 projects. And so talking to someone like that, who literally works on, the day that we talked, he literally had about 12 active projects. And I'm nowhere near that. I don't know how you have time to think or breathe or sleep or anything, but it's fine. I just know that for me personally, as someone who only works about 3 or 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, sometimes less, it's important for me to not be so overwhelmed and overbooked. But, you know, that's just me. So anyway, you know, that's kind of my world with what I'm writing for. Of course, I'm constantly working on producing more courses for Screen Music Academy, producing more YouTube content for you guys here, working on the podcast, and then the other side of these things, creating tools for you guys through Simple Samples Audio. And all 3 of these things have really been taking off over this last couple months. I was actually just having a conversation a few minutes ago, right before the stream started, with another composer who I'm working on creating a new course with. And we were just kind of joking about how most people in our world are in a very negative headspace right now, where they're, you know, in light of COVID, it's very serious. I get it. But most people are just in a very negative spot where they're pessimistic and doom and gloom. And I'm just not about that. I'm not going to allow my circumstances to determine my attitude and my work ethic and all of that. And so we were joking that, dude, this, like, my income is up like 30%. How about you? Yeah, it's way up. Because if you're in this business of online products or online services, this is the best year in history, in human history, to have an online business. Of course, the internet has only been around for so long, but the idea that everyone's at home, whether they're working or otherwise, they're consuming products, they're consuming entertainment, they're using, for us as composers, they're using our music packs, they're licensing our music to use in media. People who have always wanted to create videos or games or podcasts, they're doing it now because they're like, well, I have the time. And so their need for music is so much greater than it's ever been. And on my side of education, courses, people want to buy courses because now they want to learn things and they have the time. So it's just a really fascinating season that I'm pumped. This has actually been one of the most lucrative seasons of my life. No, not one of the, by far. I would say by far. This is the most I've ever made from music, and it's very exciting. And again, none of that is to boast, but rather to encourage those of you who want to make a living out of music. It's extremely possible. It is so possible. And I teach you guys here on this show all the time about all the different ways that you can make a living as a composer. And one more quick story before I start writing. For those of you who have not considered podcasts yet, or audio dramas, which are a type of podcast, they're fiction storytelling podcast versus like nonfiction narrative interviews, etc. They're both pretty lucrative as a composer. They're both great opportunities, but specifically the audio drama piece, it's a newer trend, but man, there are millions of listeners to these shows. Not sure if you knew that. And in the last 2 months, I've been hired on more audio dramas than just about anything else in my life. There's just something about it because it's episodic, and these creators are creating like an hour show every week or every other week. It's so much content, and because it's story driven, it's like if you were to, for those of you who work with film directors, it's like your favorite film director is coming out with a new episode every week, which is what TV is essentially, right? Except it's all audio. So the need for quality music is very, very high, and the harvest is plentiful, and you just got to be available. So anyway, I say all that. I hope that I can serve as inspiration that there is so much work out there. So for those of you who are not getting the work that you want, not getting enough, and you're starving because you're not writing on active projects, go get you some. If you have not considered the podcast space, there are hundreds of opportunities right now. But yes, that's just my encouragement today. So please take advantage of that if you've never considered it. If you're someone who likes to write for stories, it's one of the best mediums out there because it's highly consumable. It's definitely the future of content creation because it's very low cost, yet high profit. There's no visual component, so you don't have to spend money on CG and all the things that modern TV has to deal with and all the red tape, but rather these audio drama organizations, these companies are literally funded by things like Patreon. So they have thousands of people who back them every month. And so, yeah, they have the budget for this stuff. That's how I'm able to record so much live music and orchestras and choirs. Like, this is my life right now. It's insane. But there's just something about the create your own space that's the future. So anyway, welcome to the Live Composing Show. Thanks for dealing with my 10-minute long rants. I just like to catch you up and hopefully serve as an inspiration. So today we're working on episode 10. This is the creeping bloom of the Boar Knight musical podcast. Some of the notes here from the team. They want this to be a blend of two styles. They want it to be like an old-timey 1920s, 1930s, 40s type song, nice and upbeat. They want it to mimic something like the ink spots. I don't want to set the world on fire.
I've lost all ambition for worldly acclaim.
So kind of that old vibe. And maybe if you've played something like Fallout 4 or even Bioshock, that's kind of the vibe it's going for. It's almost ironic the way that they want it to be used. So that style, but they also want to mix it with some Wind Waker. Interesting. Like the opening sequence. I'm sure most of you already know how that sounds, but that's the idea. They want to kind of mix this old-timey style mixed with this heroic tale of old style. And some of the notes here, they just kind of walk through the story. These are not necessarily lyrics, but they are the story that I'm writing the music to. And this is a song, so eventually we'll get lyrics. And the way this works is I pitch my tune, so my melody with the chords and the structure. I pitch it to the team. They'll give me lyrics. Then I'll sing a demo. Then we'll send it to the orchestrator, Mike Petrie, for this soundtrack. And then we go back and forth till it's all ready. We get the cast to record it. And hey, what's up, Nicholas, Marie, and several others who are here. So the story is pretty simple. As mentioned before, it's about this little red patch of algae that people think was hurt, but when they approach and see the algae, they are relieved. If they had only known, then it would have been so easy to quell. And then one day it grows slightly larger, covering part of a well-used road to the eastern trench. It became unavoidable. It even sent a shipment of baby constrictor eels crashing into the rocks near the sinking serpent trench. The driver is still asleep in the hospital to this day. One night it bloomed, the collection of dark, wiggling algae becoming larger and larger, and took its first victim. And it continues to grow larger with every passing day. It doesn't seem to hurt walruses or plankton unless they have pre-existing respiratory problems, but most fish and gilled creatures feel ill when they approach it. So here we are. It's like this what's a good word for it? Ironic. It's kind of ironic. It's this lighthearted telling of a story. So I need to play this. If you're going to score a film, for example, that is goofy and comical, you typically score it straight. You score it serious. That way, when the singers do their own warbly voices or whatever, when they infuse their own comical nature, that way it will that juxtaposition of serious and goofy creates the context. What we don't want is to write cartoony music, right? Something super annoying. I don't know what that was, like a clavichord or something. To take that cartoony music and then do goofy voice acting on top, it doesn't work because it becomes overly silly and it doesn't actually get the emotional context. So what I love most about this job as a composer is I get to always take it seriously and put the emotional aspect, and then if they want to turn it into a comedy, whatever, let's do it. So I need to take this seriously. We're going to talk about this, the feelings of this little algae. No one likes him because he has this condition. He keeps growing and killing people and stuff. So it's my job to figure this out and to translate. So let's pop over to Cubase. Let's have some fun. And as always, ask your questions. I love talking with you guys. But if no talking, then I'm just going to talk at you. Hopefully we learned something here today. These are always fun. I almost said I haven't written a song in months, but that's not true at all. Like a song that is sung. But I actually just wrote one like 2 days ago, so that's a lie. Oh well. All right, so it's important here. Let's get the vibe. We want the old-timey vibe. So what I want to do, I want to listen back for a second. I want to see what chords they're using, because that's going to determine a lot. So it's very, very bluesy. don't use diminished chords a lot, surprisingly. It's like any blues player is probably going, you idiot, this is such an easy chord progression, but I don't do blues a lot. This is a fun, but I think that is why the team likes working with me, because even though I don't necessarily have expertise in blues, I'm going to put my sensibilities into that as an orchestral game composer, etc. There we go. I like that blues. So we're in E major right now. Doing half step walking. Kind of an old school doo-wop. And yes, Nicholas, that is Keyscape, the piano I was playing. I'm a sucker for a Yamaha C7 piano in any library. It's my favorite piano on the planet, and most would agree. It's tied with a Steinway D piano, a 9-foot grand. Those are my actual favorite. But they don't usually work in production music. They really only sound great if it's a classical music or it's a piano solo. I like that that blues. Right? Let's get that brush kit. Let's figure it out. Trying to figure out if I was a drummer. I'm not really a drummer, but like. Let's start with that. Let's get a nice slow tempo. Bum 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 da da da. Dun 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 dun. Is that going to be a fast tempo or a slow tempo? Let's find out. Dun 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 dun. I think I'm going to go with the fast tempo. It's a little bit easier to control. So I'll do an 8-bar phrase instead of a 4, but that's going to be tempo 110. Quarter note equals 110. Bum, 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 bum. Maybe a little bit slower. Da-dum, dum, dum, ba-dum, 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 bow, dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. A little bit slower. Boom, ba-dum, bow, dum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, boom, ba-dum, bow, ba-dum, now, 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 na, 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 down, down. Cool. So I have a whole thing in my head right now. So Antonio says, I think your tss is a cymbal ride, not an open hi-hat. I'll start with that. Here we go. Let's make some musics. What's up, Antonio? Welcome to the chat. All right, so it's important that we do a dotted feel on all of this, a swing feel. So let's do. Actually, not true. Let's do 1 and 2 and 3. So we'll do 16th notes, but we're going to use this little fancy swingometer here. Let's do maybe 30%. Ooh, that's awful. Maybe 80%. Redo. Oh, that's so bad. Is it an 8th note swing? What is happening? Maybe I have to undo all my quantization. Again, I'm not a super expert when it comes to swing, but I want to make this work. So nothing's quantized yet. Let's do 16th swing 50%. See what happens. Gross. Anybody have any ideas? Triplet. I don't think it's a triplet. No, that sounds gross. 8th note triplet? Dotted rhythm? Aha. Pedro is the winner of the day. It is an 8th note triplet. Triplet. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly it. Good job. Cool. So with that, so if we're doing all that with the right hand over the left, then kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, snare, kick, snare. Phil, what's up, Phil? Phil says total blues. Yeah, get my blues on today. I prefer jazz over blues, but that's just me. Let's see, we're doing that is I just don't do diminished chords a lot. It's an F diminished. Or we can call it a G sharp over. Find a way to screw it up because I don't really like authentic blues that much, but I'll find a way to do my thing with it. Something like that. This will be fun. It wouldn't be a Steven track without doing a flat 7 or flat 6, flat 7, 1. It's the video game thing. I love it. Okay. There it is. That'll be our little intro. We're going to the verse. I think that kind of sets the tone. It doesn't even have to be piano. But let's get the bass in there because we're going to orchestrate it properly later to really make it Disney-fied. Because if you haven't followed this series with the Boar Knight yet, 1 second. There we go. Mike Petrie, he orchestrates for Disney. And so he is my great friend that I work with a lot anytime I need something musical theater or Broadway, because that is his thing. He destroys it. He does such a great job with it every time. And so he just finds ways of making it sound like Disney, and that's the goal. So take whatever I have today, and he's going to do something much, much greater. I love it. It's going to be so much fun. So the beginning, I don't want to use the chord progression I will be using. So let me type in what will come here with my chords markers. Pretty simple. It's an E, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it's what would you say? An F diminished. And then dun 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 dun. Then F sharp minor. 5 chord, which is B. And then we just repeat that a bunch. Good old blues. That's the good thing about blues is it repeats a lot. But I want the intro to have its own little spice, and we'll come back to it later. So it's going to be an E. What did I just play? I mean, we're talking really classic blues here, which is a 1, 1. Let's see, 1, 2, which is F sharp minor, and then A, which is our 4 chord. B. We'll do that twice, but the second time we're going to change the A, which is the predominant, the 4. We're going to make it a flat 6, which is C chord, to a D, which is 7, and to the 1. Just creates a nice little video game vibe. And just to give the smallest bit of history, the Boar Knight started as a video game cover album. The whole story, if you want to go back to the Kickstarter days of like 7, 8, probably 10 years ago now, that was the inception of the Boar Knight, and it has since taken different iterations. But now this is all original music. It still harkens back to the video game era, so it's quite appropriate for me to harken some of the video game tropes, if you will. Okay, here we go. Those drums are stupid loud in my ears. Probably, I don't know how my volume levels are today, but we're just going to turn it down. Here we go. Let's get some pizzicato strings. Have some fun. Gosh, I have to reteach myself how to play a flippin' diminished chord. It's been so long. Last one. I'll unbluesify it. We'll add some pop there. So let's go back to this one here. Wah! And then the chorus right there, because we have to find a way to wrap it back around. This will be our chorus. There we are. And of course, let me quantize all that. Apparently, this is all triplets. Triplet, 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 triplet. But as always, because there's a slight delay, latency from my keyboard, I like to drag everything to the right ever so slightly till it's on the bar and then quantize and everything looks perfect. All right, let's have some fun with the bass. Write that in. So I changed it to a C sharp minor, B sus4 to a B. Let me replay that bass in. That was not my finest. Bass. I love some Adam Neely. And what's his name? Don't shoot me. The bass guy, you know, Davey. There we go. That's a little bit more classic. Josh, no, well, this is an Axiom 49 right here, this keyboard. Mark II. This is one of the old ones. They're super cheap on eBay if you want one. They're really nice. But no, I don't use any of the fancy stuff. There's no need for me. Phil says, hey man, jazz here too, but if Gilmore drops in with a wicked guitar solo, don't be surprised. Yeah, I think you guys answered Josh's question. What's up? Amaya says, how does a piece have a video game vibe, according to you? I think it has to do with the harmony. So anytime you use a flat 6, flat 7, 1, it constantly evokes the, like, a victory. Probably most famous from Mario. Right, Final Fantasy. Whatever. It's all flat 6, flat 7s. Everywhere in video games. All right, put that bass in. Boosh. Bass that doesn't suck. That'll do. All triplet feeling. Ba-da-ba-da-da. get super caught in the weeds here with drumming, but let's at least get a pattern. Cool, that'll do. Take all that, tripolitify it, good to go. Because that's now a word. All right, so I gotta find some way to, that's obviously the reference to the ink spots, but I want to try to get some Wind Waker reference as well. As many of you know, the bum ba da dum bum bum. Totally different, right? So how can I incorporate that? Maybe make it less fun. Maybe a chorus would be the time to really focus on that type of chord progression. So it doesn't help that that's all minor and this is all major, but so I'm trying to fuse two styles that have nothing in common, which is interesting. And thank you for the dabs, David. Phil, I'm a big fan of Cubase recently. It feels a lot like Logic. But for what I do as a composer, the fact that Cubase allows for infinite number of folders for your tracks and for infinite numbers of markers, which means you can do anything you want. It's pretty amazing. Ooh, where do we go from here? All right. So I'm trying to think of like a recurring theme, and since so much of it is happy, maybe make it the sad side, and we can kind of hop back and forth between the happiness of the innocence of the sea creature growing, but then the chorus is when bad things happen. Might be a good way to juxtapose two different ideas. I like it. What you think? It's very ship shanty. I mean, we have a water theme here anyway, so why not? And we have like a pirate ship coming in and dropping off crates of electric eels who die. So whatever. I don't think it can harm. So what do we got here? We have C sharp minor. No. 1, 2. So let's put all these in real quick. E over G sharp. A to a E to a F sharp. No, no. It's a C sharp minor 7. D. So this is definitely that video game tonality. No to a B sus for no. No. And then we repeat half of it. No. D, back to the E, and then back to the verse. Voice 2. Also, like, I really love writing these types of songs versus pop songs because I can break the rules all the time and do the video gamey type stuff. Turker, I have used Reaper, not a fan, but a lot of people love it. I just don't like it. Nothing makes sense to me. I think Cubase sums up the way that I think pretty much perfectly. Yes, please. Sounds good. is why I write down my chords, because now I can follow along. Probably just continue that same spiel with the brush kit. I wish that something like that. It's much more singable. Blah, 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 blah. Now the real challenge is, how do we take that? That's the vocal melody, by the way, that obnoxious piano on top. And then get ourselves back into this madness, which is the next verse, without it feeling just forced and fake and stiff. It actually works. Huh. Might as well just sing it, to be honest. I'll still mute it. La, la, ba, da, 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 dum, ba, dum. I actually have my other mic here. Let's do it. Can't hurt. It helps to give us a better idea what the heck's going on. La, 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 la. Oh, wow. Reverb for days. Let's fix that. Okay. So the verse. This is literally, guys, this is literally what I do for a living. It's kind of insane. I just like sing into a microphone while playing chords and somehow get paid lots for it. But this is why I like to collaborate with people, because I'll sing my little ditty like that and I'll send the whole track, but then the team's going to come up with lyrics that fit the rhythm for the most part, and I might tweak it slightly, but then I'll send another demo with the actual lyrics that I'm singing, and then a good singer goes and records it, and then we'll get live instruments, and it's just so much fun, because this is what a demo actually is. Why, thank you. You know what's funny is I've never considered myself to have someone with perfect pitch, as it's actually called, but people say that a lot, that I have really good pitch. And I honestly think it's from playing strings, because everything on a string instrument, like a violin or a cello, it has to be pitch perfect. And I just think that that's stuck in my ear. I just happen to sing as well. It's not anything I do professionally, but you get what I'm saying. I think more so than, more so than just about any other type of player, string players have the best intonation. Excuse me. But let's write a little melody for this. Oh, I love that diminished. We got to emphasize it. So we're doing this half step thing. I don't want to make it like too poppy, but I'm also not trying to do Santa Baby, Santa Baby. I'm not trying to go that avenue either, because it is supposed to be like a tale, a story. So it probably needs to have a slightly slower rhythm for the verse. Probably some syncopation. So let me just pick out some words from the text that we're working with here today. Again, these are not the lyrics themselves, but it needs to help shape. Because if this is the beginning of the story, it started off in a distant part of the sea. It was small, it didn't seem to be a threat. Something like that. It started off in a distant part of the sea. Da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-da-bum. Storytelling. That thing they do in musicals. Da-da-da-dum, ba-da-ba-da-da-ba-dum. And it matches the strings, the little pits on the fourth beat. Dun, da, 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 the third beat. We can emphasize that with orchestration later. Ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-ba-dum. Ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-ba-dum. Ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-ba-dum. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-dum, da-da-da-dum, da-dum. Something like that. Da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. I can't get Santa Baby out of my head. Da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-ba-dum. Da-da-dum, ba-dum. Now I really feel like a doo-wopper because I'm literally holding my microphone. Nope. I dislike that chord progression. I need to spice your chord there. Probably another diminished or augmented chord. Let's find out. It's too poppy. So instead. So we're doing this. Nope. That's it. E augmented. C augmented. Something like that. It'll help with the style. Okay, but do we have the space for that? 2, 4, 6, 8. Maybe. You can squeeze 4 chords in. So let's do some math here. So instead of... try it. Instead of that C sharp, it's just so predictable. So we'll do C augmented over G sharp. It's just way more interesting. Dum ba dum ba dum. So what's that? C. It's fixing my chords. That's it. It's a little bit weird, but I kind of like it. But we're also going to a C sharp minor, so. Let's just listen. Yes, please. That's the coolest of them all. Because it actually literally leads into it. Cool. Just working my magic over here, my sorcery. There it is. La 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 la. La 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 la. Get out of my head. Huh. Right. Ah. I can live with that. Let the show go on. Get the microphone. I think it'd be cool if there's like a choir there. La 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 Let me revise that, please, just for a moment. La 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 la. When Stephen meets Stephen. La 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 la. No 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 no. La 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 la. What am I doing? La 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 na 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 la 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 freaking what's the note? Oh, it's just a whole step. La 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 la. Let's do it. One more try, please. I think that was pretty good. How about you? Love it. Wait, really? There's a Steve from Minecraft? Oh, that one. Ha! That's hilarious. I like this song. Cool. All right, I think we're ready. I think this one's done. as much as it can be. I mean, I could go and fully produce things, but it doesn't really help at this stage. What I am going to do, though, is for the sake of letting the team hear what it will sound like if we, do verse, chorus, verse. All I have to do is chop up the grid right here. The grid. Right. We're going to do voice. Voice 2 is going to be right here. We're going to put it over here. Verse 2. Move. Please move. There we go. Awesome. Cool, and that's it. I'll just leave it just like that. So let me export it while we're here because this is my real life. So just to show you what I do in Cubase to export, pretty simple. If I'm doing stems, I go to the multiple tab, which is probably the biggest selling feature of Cubase. Someone was asking about that earlier. I think Turker was asking, and who else was asking? Phil, I think, and maybe David. You guys were asking about, why do I use Cubase? It's because little things like this. I have to deliver stems for just about everything I do because that's what developers and project creators want. They want the ability to mix themselves. Not always, but sometimes they're not feeling the pizzicato strings. They want to take it out, whatever. And I don't want to have to redo the whole piece or to open my session every time they need to change something. So this just helps things move along very, very quickly. So always recommend that. So that's one of the cool things. That this is probably the biggest separator from something like Digital Performer. I love Digital Performer because it's great for film scoring, but it is awful at exporting because you can't do stems, at least not like this. Literally all I have to do is click the exact tracks that I want and it'll export it with the effects. You can't beat that. And it has it all organized by the types of channels, which is so nice. But anyway, I don't need to do any of that right now. I'll just do a single, and all I do is go to the stereo out. If I wanted to export one of the tracks with effects, that'd be great. But it does this all in like seconds. It doesn't take hours or whatever. When I used to use Digital Performer a lot for film scoring, I would export, and it would literally take like an hour to export because it had to like render all the effects. There's something about the internal engine. It's not too happy about things. And that's honestly one of the biggest reasons I haven't used it much lately because it's so time consuming. But this, oh, whoa, David says in Digital Performer 10, you can do stems now. I stopped at 9. So maybe that was, I'm glad they fixed that because that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Okay. Anyway, this is episode 10, Creeping Bloom. And we'll call this a not Doom, Creeping Doom. We'll do a demo because that's kind of what it is. And then if they like it, they'll send back. There's also, if I can get my I'm missing half of my box here. Hold on. Hold up. Don't you love it when your windows get all screwed up and you can't grab it? Whatever. There's a little tick box that lets you export an MP3 as well. But for right now, I'm just going to do it MP3 because that's all that matters. And we'll go from there. It's pretty quick. Depends on how intensive your plugins are and obviously how much CPU and RAM you have. Because I'm on a stream right now, it's going to take extra long, but you got to get the purpose. Anyway, what I would love to do is, since that was so quick, I want to move on to another episode of the episode 11. So let's do this, guys. I'm going to export this, open up the episode 11 session, just a blank Cubase session. Let's take a quick 2-minute break to make that switch, and I'm actually going to create a new screen for those of you who are it should automatically do it. I can be totally wrong. Just go to the YouTube channel. Okay? I'm going to start making streams. People like to go back and watch these. It's not very kind to hide a second episode of it. So anyway, cool. So I'll be back in a couple minutes on the next stream. See you then. Bye.